Hey guys, it's Joe here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast, joined this morning by Ian Cameron, host of the Ice Guys. Ian, happy Tuesday. How's the day treating you so far?
Yeah, it's good, Joe. Good to be back. I've got my Acapulco shirt on here this morning, which indicates that I got Acapulco on my mind because I want this season to be done at this point. The NHL. I mean, it's dragged on for a very long time, and I love hockey. I mean, this is a sport I love, and I'm thrilled and ecstatic and excited about this Cup final. But man, it's the middle of June here, and we've still got more, maybe up to 7 games more. So it's been a long year, but no, nevertheless, in spite of that. I am looking forward to the Stanley Cup final. It's basically chock full of incredible intrigue, hype, storylines. You've got the two-time defending champions taking on a team that I think might be good enough to win it multiple times in the next 5 to 10 years, Colorado Avalanche. So it's a great series on paper, and hopefully on the ice, it lives up to all the billing it's getting right now.
Absolutely. So, on paper, the Colorado Avalanche are the favorite, huge favorites in this minus 180 to take the Stanley Cup. In your mind, can they do it, Ian?
They can, but I was a little surprised it was that high on Colorado, minus 180. See, there's some real problems, I think, for Tampa Bay in this series. And you're going to think, wow, haven't you watched Tampa Bay enough to know they can handle anything? Yes, I think they can handle anything, but I don't know if they're going to be able, through possibly up to 7 games, handle the blue line of Colorado, which can just do things that I don't know if another NHL team can do what Colorado can do with the blue line. When they have 1 through 6 that they can all skate at an extremely fast, extremely high level. They all, at every moment, every shift on the ice, you're seeing the two defensemen, whether it's Makar and Taves, the top pair, whether it's Byram, Manson, even the Johnson and Johnsons, as I like to call them, Eric and Jack. I mean, they'll even get up in the play most of the time as well. But the thing with all of these defensemen is they have the skating speed to get back in position. If there's a turnover at the opposing blue line, if there's a transition or a rush chance for the other team, their ability to skate incredibly well and get back into the proper defensive position allows them to play this just up and down 5-man attack that Colorado does. And when you look at Tampa Bay, certainly their last opponent, the New York Rangers, they play nothing like that. No. Gerard Gallant wants them to, really look at forechecking and really look at, trying to cycle the puck a little bit more. And they just don't have the overall forwards, the team speed or the forward depth to play the way Colorado does. So stylistically, it is a lot different for Tampa Bay compared to what they saw against the New York Rangers. Even Florida and Toronto, who are very, very high-scoring teams throughout the course of the year, their blue line doesn't activate, on every shift like Colorado. And when you think of Tampa Bay, I know there's people that say, the fatigue factor is not a big deal for them. They've shown that, fatigue has not come into their play yet. 2 Stanley Cup runs and now another deep run in the playoffs. If there's ever a series it will show up, though, it's here. You've got the thin air and altitude of the games that are taking place in Denver. You've got this Colorado team that's going to try to up the pace in this series. I think try to make sure that they get Tampa Bay moving laterally, east to west, and having to skate, having to move around, and really test them here. Test how much stamina and how much gas is left in their tank. Because let's be honest, Tampa Bay's played a hell of a lot of hockey, a ton of games the last 3 years. And if there's ever a series where that's going to finally start to show up, the wear and tear of playing all the hockey they have the last 3 years, it's going to be against this team because I think they're going to try to really, really quicken this series, skate, impose their speed, and really try to wear down Tampa Bay and really test just how much they've got left in their gas tank after multiple Stanley Cup runs.
Absolutely. Now we look at the goalie situation here. How do you think Vasilevsky will do against the Colorado Avalanche waves of attack? We know they're going to be coming at him. We know that he's a stronger goalie in this situation, but has he faced a team like the Colorado Avalanche yet?
Oh, I don't worry about Vasilevsky too much. He's that good. He has been Mr. Big Game performer for the Tampa Bay Lightning, evidenced by his record in elimination games. And evident, which has been spectacular. And he put another notch on his belt in Game 6, obviously, against the New York Rangers. But again, with the Rangers, their 5-on-5 even strength offense, it dried up significantly late in that series. And you can't necessarily expect Colorado to, fall into those same issues. and against Vasilevsky and the Lightning here. I mean, when you look at Tampa Bay and you look at that lineup, the top two lines are extremely dynamic. They brought in Arturi Lehkonen from the Montreal Canadiens, who's currently playing on their second line, and look what he ends up doing. He scores obviously the overtime winner against Edmonton to finish off that series in a sweep. There's definitely incredible depth offensively, and even more so if they get Nazem Kadri back, and which I didn't expect. I thought for sure after the hit by Evander Kane on him in the last series, and Nazem Kadri, it looked like was going to be out. They said it initially for the rest of the playoffs. Now all of a sudden, there's a good chance he's playing at some point in this series, and maybe even as early as game one. So that's a very, very welcome sight for the Avalanche, because this guy was just playing extremely well before the absence. I mean, scoring big goals, winning faceoffs, key faceoff wins, defensive responsibility, guy that plays in all situations, is great on the power play, excellent on the penalty kill. Obviously, 5-on-5, he's great as well. You know, it's just someone that matters that much to Colorado. And if they can bring him back, slot JT Compher back in his normal third line center spot, man, you've all of a sudden got incredible depth down the middle. The likes of which I think is greater than some of Tampa Bay's previous opponents. So, you know, there are things that I really like here about Colorado. It is the two-time defending champs. I will say the one thing, we'll get into game one specifically, that could be an opportunity for Tampa Bay with Colorado coming off the 9-day layoff. We know that's not an easy situation when you've been idle for that amount of time. But just in terms of Vasilevsky, the question, I'm not worried. I'm more worried about what Colorado's team does against this Tampa defense more than I'm worried about how Colorado will do against Vasilevsky specifically. Because look, if Vasilevsky is going to get lit up in this series and he's going to have goals scored on him and maybe he doesn't play as well, I'm willing to bank, Joe, that it's going to be more because of defensive breakdowns and just elite level skill and precision offensively from Colorado that are going to lead to those goals more than it's bad goaltending or weaker than average, weaker than normal, weaker than usual goaltending from Vasilevsky. I think you're going to see in this series, whatever goals Colorado gets, they're going to be deflections, tips, they're going to be goals that he has no chance on, or it's going to be a product of just the offensive acumen, the offensive skill, the playmaking ability, the vision, the depth offensively that Colorado has is just too much for the Tampa defense to handle. And sometimes, look, goalies are hung out to dry by bad defensive coverage. That could be the kind of goals we see go in for Colorado.
Now, looking at Colorado's goalie, Kemper, it looks like he will be starting this series here. What are your thoughts on him? We know he went out with that eye injury. He sounds to be 100%. We know players like Cale Makar are able to stop those shots on him. Do you think we really see Kemper step up in the Stanley Cup Finals here?
Yeah, he's on pace to be ready to be available, at least in this series. We'll see if that's game one specifically. Darcy, look, anybody that is evaluating the goaltending battle in this series has to give the edge to Vasilevsky. You just have to by default. He's a two-time defending Stanley Cup champion. He's won one big game after another. There's no doubt about that. And this is no slight on Darcy Kemper, who had a very good season for Colorado. I'd say a great season, especially in the regular season. The first round, he played very well. The last couple of games of the second round against St. Louis before he suffered the injury, he kind of let in a couple goals that you would have liked to say, I'd like my goalie to have that one. That would concern you a little bit. And the fact he's been out for a couple of weeks now. You know, he's got to now all of a sudden get back in the net and all of a sudden be ready for a Stanley Cup final. You know, that's going to be a big challenge here for Darcy Kemper. He is a very good goalie, though. He has played well the majority of the year. And look, maybe the time off is beneficial for him. He gets to rest, he gets to recover and, you know, get more energy behind him and be ready here for a great Tampa Bay Lightning team. So, yeah, I like Kemper. He's a good goalie. Again, I didn't love a couple of the goals that went in at the St. Louis series before his injury, but hey, it's wipe the slate clean. It's a brand new series here. He's had a couple weeks to recover from the injury, rest up. He should be full of energy, should be able to move even better in the crease, in my opinion, because of this time off. But at the end of the day, how do you not give Andrei Vasilevsky on paper the goalie edge in this series? You have to.
Absolutely, you have to. Now, one other player I wanted to ask you about. What are your thoughts on Braden Point if he will be back? In the last game against the Rangers was questionable. I really did think we would see him out there. Do you think we'll see him out here in game one or in the series at all?
Yeah, I would think game one he'll be in. I mean, because he almost came back in game six against the New York Rangers on Saturday. He was this close to playing Saturday night. I mean, they tested it out before the puck dropped that night to see if Braden Point could return Saturday for that game six, and they decided, we'll play it safe. You know, we've got games. I think if that series got to game seven with the Rangers, you would have seen him in game seven on Monday night. But now he's going to be available, I'm sure, for as early as game one. And obviously, when you talk about players that just elevate their game at playoff time, Braden Point's probably the poster child of that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just been absolutely remarkable in the postseason. Big goals, just winning puck battles all over the ice, tenacious, hard to bump off the puck. For a guy that's not big in terms of height, he is a guy that's very, very tough to get off the puck, and he's very, very good in terms of the forechecking game. He's got finishing ability. His skating stride, I think, has improved over the years. He just is a very, very good, well-rounded player, both ends of the ice, two-way, 200-foot player for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he's just sorely missed. And the fact that the Lightning were able to dispatch the Florida Panthers in a sweep and beat a solid Rangers team in 6 games without him just speaks to volumes to how this team collectively continues to just grow and just find next man up mentality. And that's exactly what they've done. Not to mention they've had, some of their third and fourth line even chip in at times. But no, having Braden Point is back, because this is the one opponent, Joe, where if you didn't have Braden Point, this is the series where you could feel that absence.
Absolutely.
Against a team like the Colorado Avalanche. I know they did a great job without Point against Florida and the Rangers since he got hurt in game 7 against Toronto in the first round. But I think if Tampa Bay did not have Braden Point available in Colorado, they would feel the loss of not having him on the ice in this series. But they are going to probably have him back. I would expect him to be in as early as tomorrow night for game 1. And obviously with his playoff credentials, he's going to be a most welcome return.
Absolutely. So let's talk game 1. We've got the Avs coming in as the favorite, total of 6 in this one. Can the Avs get it done off this much rest, or is Tampa going to roll in here and win one on the road?
Yeah, I'm going to bet that no, in fact, here, that they do not get it done, Colorado off the rest. I actually do like Tampa in game 1 at the plus price. You can get plus 140, 45 is what I'm seeing right now with Tampa money line here for game 1. I just think it's very difficult here given the situation. I mean, we saw this very scenario play out for Tampa Bay against the New York Rangers going into the Eastern Conference Final. And now the shoe's on the other foot. And we saw Tampa Bay in that series, game 1 against the New York Rangers, not look sharp at all in that game, coming off an exact same length layoff of 9 days going into that series. Remember, they swept Florida in 4 straight. They had 9 days off, and right away they're giving up basically a wide open chance, and all alone in front of the net is Chris Kreider to score the first goal of that game, like a minute into the game 1 for the Rangers. And you could tell right away this Tampa just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
They don't look sharp. They don't look like they're in sync. Now maybe Colorado and Bednar's got some things that he can do in the last 9 days to try to help his team avoid this kind of similar fate, but I think it's difficult. And on the Ice Guys show, we've talked to a bunch of players that just say the 9-day layoff is too long. You'd like to have 5 days off. It's great. It's a perfect length. 5 days gives you enough rest. Whereas when you come back, you feel like you're ready to just jump into game mode, especially playoff game mode, and just be ready to dial up the intensity and the speed and the game speed immediately. But when you have 9 days off, like we've had multiple players say that's just too long to try to just all of a sudden hit the ice again after being idle for over a week and just all of a sudden be able to ramp up your game to that level of intensity and speed that's required of a Stanley Cup final. So I think Tampa Bay's got a chance here to take game 1 in this series. But I do like Colorado in the series to win it in like 6 or 7. Come back after maybe a game 1 where they don't have their legs under them and win this series. And I know it's not easy to predict that against a Tampa Bay team looking for their 3rd Stanley Cup. They want this thing badly. John Cooper has gone to the book of quotes or the book of speeches, if you will, throughout this playoff run, telling his team, hey, nobody's going to remember you for winning 2 Stanley Cups in a row. You want to be remembered as an all-time great dynasty or a great team and a great run, you got to win 3. Yeah. So he's got this team wanting it badly now. The question is there enough in the reserve right now for Tampa Bay against by far a team that's going to challenge them and their dexterity, I think, way more than anybody else has here in the playoffs. That's my big question. And I think as this series goes on, it's going to hurt Colorado in game one being off for 9 days.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to see the dividends of the rest they got during those 9 days as the series goes on. You're going to see them be fresh. You're going to see them constantly be willing to push pace, drive the pace of the game, pace of the series up, and really make this Tampa Bay team go, laterally across the ice. That's the great thing. Colorado moves the puck extremely well laterally. Open up seams, open up space in the offensive zone. That's what you've got to do against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's got an elite goalie. They've got guys that'll block shots left and right.
Yep.
You've got to be able to open up seams to get the puck to the net. You've got to open up seams for those passes to get through without a shot being blocked or hitting a body part or hitting a stick. And the way that happens is you think the game fast, you move the puck fast, and the players move around in the offensive zone. Nobody stays stationary. Colorado's one of those teams that's just unbelievable at that. Just moving the puck, zipping it around, bop, 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 around the offensive zone. And that's how you open things up against a team like Tampa Bay. I think they've got the right offensive approach to really cause some havoc here and some problems for Tampa Bay. So because of the layoff, Joe, of 9 days, I like Tampa in game one, but I like Colorado to come back, win the series, a very good, close series, but I think they'll win in 6 or 7. So I'm on Tampa in game one. I'm on Tampa in the first period specifically in game one, too, because I think the first 20 minutes in particular could be an adjustment for Colorado, and you could get the Tampa Bay Lightning around plus 120 to plus 125 in the first period for game one. And I'm also going to look at a game one series combo. I've taken a shot with a couple of these here in the playoffs, and that's Tampa Bay to win game one, Colorado to win the series. You can get that at plus 400. So a nice payout there. We're going to take a shot with that as well.
That is a great payout, Ian. I wish you all the best in that bet and all of your bets for the Stanley Cup. What's happening on the ice, guys, this week? Where can people find it? What time can they check it out?
Yeah, we'll have shows live every game day. We're usually 7 days a week, but now we're at that stage of the season where we don't have shows 7 days a week, but we are on every game day. So we'll have a live show Wednesday, Saturday, next Monday, the following Wednesday, and whichever games are going on beyond that in the Stanley Cup final. We still have live betcasts throughout the Stanley Cup final, including game one on Wednesday night. And our very own host of this show, Joe Madden, will be joining us for a bit on that betcast Wednesday night. So looking forward to that for game one. We'll have a betcast next Monday and Wednesday as well for game 3 and 4 of the series. So looking forward to that. So you can check out the Ice Guys. Follow me on Twitter at Bobano. Pub Sports radio shows, of course, will continue as well. And of course, if you want subscription info, bobano350@gmail.com. I believe the unit count is 70 units combined in NHL, NBA, MLB, CFL as of right now. So it's been a great run. We'll see if we can keep it going.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely dominating on those shows, Ian. Hats off to you. After our last game where we were calling 3-1 for the Rangers, I was kicking myself saying, why didn't we take the reverse with Tampa? We had the exact score, but not the right team. That was one heck of a game.
Yeah, it definitely was. The last betcast, no doubt. It was a lot of fun, that game. It was down to the wire. It was intense. It was a very important game in the series. So the betcasts are fun, and you're not going to win on every betcast. No. The live bets aren't always going to go your way. We always find that out. But, we do the best we can. We watch the flow of the game. We try to make good decisions in terms of good live betting decisions based on that. And more than anything, it's a lot of fun. We just, just shoot the baloney, as they say. Yeah. Just chat about the game as it's going on. Have a little drink with you during the betcast. It's really like a bar and a pub atmosphere virtually, the Ice Guys betcast. So if you're a hockey fan and you're going to watch the Stanley Cup final, by all means, tune into the betcasts.
Yeah, you absolutely have to. The banter is amazing. The information is amazing. And those live bets, you guys have hit so many of those for great plus money as well, Ian. So you guys make sure you check it out. I'll see you there Wednesday, Ian. But thank you for joining me here on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk tomorrow.
All right, Joe. Thanks. Great as always. And see you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday, Ian. Thanks, guys. I'll be back at the top of the hour with another Joe Madden Sports Podcast.